Coming up on the Rockbridge Report, the San Bernardino shooting is said to be the worst since Sandy Hook. We'll show you the latest in the ongoing investigation.
A new incubator for ideas and crafts might be coming to Lexington. We'll show you how you can get involved in the growing trend of makerspaces.
And horses frolicking with Santa? Our own Mac Trammell was there to capture the annual Buena Vista tradition.
All that, your weekend forecast, and more is next on the Rockbridge Report.
Live from the campus of Washington and Lee University with news for Rockbridge County, this is the Rockbridge Report.
Welcome to the Rockbridge Report. I'm Kinsey Grant.
And I'm Reed Gady. The investigation into the mass shooting in Southern California continues today. With 14 dead and 17 more wounded, it's the deadliest shooting since Sandy Hook. The tactical preparation and precision has many asking, was this shooting spontaneous rage, or was the party targeted? Victor Blackwell brings us the latest.
Breaking overnight, two shooters in San Bernardino's mass shooting identified. Police say the shooters, 28-year-old Syed Rizwan Farouk and 27-year-old Tashfeen Malik, were shot dead in this black SUV at the end of a massive manhunt. Overnight, a SWAT team sweeping this Redlands home for explosives.
So until we know the motive or we really have something clear evidentiary based on that motive, I just don't want to weigh in on that right now. We have not ruled out terrorism.
The massacre began around 11 a.m. at the Inland Regional Center. Authorities say the county's health department was having a holiday party at the time. Police say Farouk was an inspector for the department. He abruptly left the holiday party after a dispute and came back, they think, alongside Malik, opening fire.
I heard rapid shooting, just boom, 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 boom.
Armed with AR-15 style rifles and two semi-automatic handguns, investigators say the shooters came equipped, dressed in tactical gear. Family members receiving gut-wrenching messages from loved ones that an active shooting was taking place.
Shooting at my work, people shot, in the office waiting for cops.
This was the frightening scene inside.
Are you ready? If you're not cool, I'm not walking with you.
Dozens of employees being led to safety by police officers.
Try to relax, everyone, try to relax. I'll take a bullet before you do, Mr.
The shooters killing 14, wounding 17 more. The pair fleeing in a black SUV, prompting police, FBI, and SWAT teams to launch a massive manhunt. Hours later, a tip leading authorities to the Redlands home where they spotted a suspicious SUV, resulting in a wild police chase. About 2 miles from Inland Regional Center, police engage in a bloody shootout with this black SUV. Both shooters now dead.
What's your exact location?
We are at San Bernardino and Shedden. San Bernardino and Shedden. We can see one guy down. There's one guy in the back of a car that we need that Bearcat.
Law enforcement sources tell CNN Farouk is a U.S. citizen, and a relative says he and Malik had a 6-month-old baby girl.
I spoke to about like a week ago.
His brother-in-law at a loss for words.
I am very sad that, people lost their life and there's victims out there. I wish speed recovery to them, and again, I am in shock. Why would he do something like this? I have absolutely no idea. I'm in shock myself.
President Obama has asked that all American flags be flown at half-staff to recognize the tragedy today. Police in Savannah, Georgia are searching for suspects in a shooting that left 1 person dead and 3 others wounded. Officers were called to a shooting early this morning. When they got there, they found the 4 victims all suffering from gunshot wounds. A 34-year-old woman died at the scene, while 3 men, including 1 teen, were hospitalized with non-life-threatening injuries. Authorities believe there are at least 2 suspects, and that the shootings are a result of what they called group violence.
The U.S. military is opening all combat posts to women. U.S. Defense Secretary Ash Carter made that historic announcement today. He says women will be able to fill all jobs currently limited to men, including infantry and some special operations units.
This means that as long as they qualify and meet the standards, women will now be able to contribute to our mission in ways they could not before. They'll be allowed to drive tanks, fire mortars, and lead infantry soldiers into combat. They'll be able to serve as Army Rangers and Green Berets, Navy SEALs, Marine Corps infantry, Air Force parajumpers, and everything else that was previously open only to men. And even more importantly, our military will be better able to harness the skills and perspectives that talented women have to offer.
The decision comes after years-long reviews and public pushback from some within the military. The Marine Corps had sought exceptions to the new rule, at one point releasing a study suggesting all-male squads are more effective in combat than integrated groups.
Russian President Vladimir Putin delivered his annual address to his nation today. He covered various subjects, including ISIS and tensions with Turkey. Responding after a Russian jet was shot down by Turkey last week, Putin warned that Russia would not forget this act of complicity with terrorists. He called for one powerful fist to fight terrorism and accused Western powers of creating a zone of chaos. Putin and Turkish President Erdogan have exchanged tense rhetoric through the press conferences. Putin accused Turkey of a treacherous war crime and downing a Russian warplane near the Syrian border. In a vague threat, he said that Russia will make Turkey feel sorry for what they have done, more than once. In Minneapolis earlier today, officers arrested 8 demonstrators outside the 4th Precinct Police Station. Nobody was injured. Around 50 protesters have occupied the site for nearly 3 weeks, following the fatal shooting of 24-year-old Jamar Clark. Members of Black Lives Matter and other demonstrators are demanding the police release the video footage they have on the case. State and federal investigations are underway. But there are still many unanswered questions surrounding Clark's death. This morning, tents and supplies were removed and a high fence erected around the precinct in efforts to keep people off the lawn and the sidewalk in front of the station.
A worldwide phenomenon known as makerspace might be coming to Lexington. A makerspace is a place where people can use the latest technology to build gadgets while collaborating on new projects. Entrepreneurs opened one in Stanton last year. But what does this mean for Lexington? Anna Akins has more.
Last year, entrepreneurs Dan Funk and Jim Rutt opened a makerspace in downtown Stanton. The opening wasn't complicated. It just involved a piece of equipment and 2 men with an innovative plan.
It didn't take any time to rent the building, and it didn't take, and I already had the 3D printer sitting there in my office at home doing nothing. So, and that was it, right? It was a 3D printer in a building and me and Jim walking around calling it a makerspace.
The Makerspace is a privately owned LLC that has a woodworking shop and several electronic devices, which allow its members to create items while also collaborating on future projects. Some of the technology pieces include 2 3D printers and a do-it-yourself laser cutter, which uses a high-power laser beam to cut through objects.
This is a do-it-yourself laser cutter. So somebody built this from scratch based off plans on the internet and a list of materials.
Lexington City Manager Noah Simon has visited the Stanton Makerspace twice and is exploring the possibility of bringing this new concept to Lexington.
The Makerspace is an idea that I've been aware of for a number of years, having lived and worked in communities that have makerspaces, and I've seen how important they are for collaboration, innovation, and economic development.
Simon has already received interest from people in town. One of them is Jim Youngblood, the network administrator at Virginia Military Institute.
While I was in Stanton, I talked with the guy who runs the makerspace there, and he said the Lexington City Manager had just been over and visited.
He said that a makerspace would foster innovation in Lexington.
The makerspaces don't really constitute one thing. They constitute creativity, and it can express itself a lot of ways, and it can be used to help large cross-sections of the community. It's a place to share knowledge and to get inspiration.
For the Rockbridge Report, I'm Anna Akins.
Makerspaces are an international trend that have become increasingly popular in the U.S. Stay tuned for potential makerspace developments here in Lexington.
Lexington is once again home to a shoe repair shop. Cobblestone opened this week on West Nelson Street. Owner Greg Moore practiced cobbling in Buena Vista until 2002 when he switched jobs. He missed the craft and being self-employed. Moore and his wife, Sarah, are excited to set up in Lexington. Cobblestone is one of a kind in Rockbridge County, and the Moores are confident that the store will mend shoes for years to come.
After the break, the Rockbridge Report's own Rachel Stone reports on increasing school lunch prices and poverty levels in the greater Rockbridge area.
As you can see behind me here, the rainy days have left us and we have a beautiful weekend coming up. Stay tuned for more.
And later, a Wisconsin elementary school is removing a controversial book from its reading list. But one family's transgender first grader disagrees.
If you don't fix them, sparks from dragging tow chains could cause a wildfire, and that could be scary.
Hi, Smokey.
Only you can prevent wildfires.
In the small town of Elmira, New York, a boy was born into an all-American family. The odds of him achieving his dream in the fashion industry? 1 in 23 million. The odds of having a child diagnosed with autism? 1 in 68. I am Tommy Hilfiger, and my family is affected by autism. Learn more at autismspeaks.org/signs.
He's on his way. He doesn't even know that we're here. Is he okay? Please tell me he's okay.
Laura.
Okay, try to call him again.
There's no signal.
Try.
Nothing's working.
Well, just
Everything's down.
This is so bad. He's out there by himself.
Make sure you know where to find your family in an emergency. Start your plan at ready.gov.
The percent of students in Rockbridge County and Buena Vista schools who qualify for free and reduced meals is higher than average in Virginia. Daphne Stickley, school nutrition supervisor for Rockbridge County, said potentially more people could qualify based on the prevalence of low-income families in the area. Food insecurity has a negative effect on children. Lexington City Mayor Mimi Elrod said we should focus on making sure high school students have an earning ability when they graduate.
So it's been a bit chillier after coming back from Thanksgiving break, Athena. What can we expect in the week to come?
Yeah, for sure. The weather is like preparing us for Christmas already, but we do have a beautiful weekend lineup, and I'll tell you more about that in just a minute. Now let's just take a look outside. It certainly feels a lot like winter now. Today we have a high temperature at 48 degrees and a low temperature at 27 degrees, humidity at 44%, and wind is blowing northwest at 13 miles per hour. Zooming out to the region, we have a pretty sunny day today throughout the area, but we do see that up in Covington it's significantly colder at 32 degrees, and down in Roanoke it's only 46 degrees with some cloud coverage above Covington and Roanoke. Moving on to the satellite and radar graph, we see that we have some moderate precipitation coming through our area, but nothing intense in this afternoon or evening. Moving on to the 5-day forecast, we have a beautiful forecast for the next 5 days to come, and we see that Friday we have, starting tomorrow, the temperature will be climbing up from the low 50s all the way to Monday. Actually Sunday, the highest for the next 5 days at 56, and Monday we have high at 54 and low at 34. But unfortunately, Tuesday we will have some clouds coming back in and a chance of rain. So the temperature will be dragged down to 48 and 37. And that's it for weather. Back to you, Kenzie and Reed.
Great to hear that we've got sunshine and rising temperatures coming up. Thanks for the update, Athena. Thousands of world leaders are meeting in Paris this week to discuss climate change, and local citizens are lobbying too. A student group at Washington and Lee is holding a meeting tonight at 6 on campus. A 71-year-old organic farmer from Goshen has been holding public meetings in Lexington about climate change too. Both efforts are aimed at creating a local chapter of a group called Citizens Climate Lobby. For more about the local effort, visit our website, rockbridgereport.washingtonlee.net. After the break, we'll show you how Rockbridge County is managing a tight budget while keeping its employees insured.
And RCHS got a grant for its trade school. We'll show you how it's being put to use. And later, college basketball says goodbye to one of its greatest coaches.
Hi, may I please have an application? Thank you.
Skip the drama. Get your GED.
Okay.
Take that first step towards a better future and sign up for free classes now at yourged.org.
If you store your guns properly,
I'll feel safer when I'm playing outside.
Safer when walking home.
I won't have to tell so many family members. I'm sorry.
I won't hear as many scary stories.
And I won't have to tell my kids. This isn't a drill.
Please.
Please,
Do it for us.
Your family, friends, and neighbors are all counting on you. Never let your gun get into the wrong hands. Remember, always, lock it up. Visit ncpc.org.
No more pencils, no more books.
No more teachers, dirty looks.
School's out for summer.
What this place needed was better graduation rates. So we worked with schools like Henry Ford High, and now they're up 18%.
To help us do more good this year, go to unitedway.org, because great things happen when we live united.
If you want to be a parent, it doesn't matter how you play, what you wear, how you dance, or even what direction life takes you. You just need to be there. You don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care don't need perfection. They just need you.
Rising health insurance rates across the nation have caused local governments to begin discussion about plans of action. Rockbridge County is considering hiring a professional insurance consultant to look at new insurance plans for its employees. The consultant would weigh factors such as family benefits and copay amounts. Lexington City has seen an increase in its insurance rates as well, but so far has no plans to change their course of action. Polly Noskova has more on our website this week.
Lowe's building material stores give a limited number of grants to help with education. This year, Rockbridge County High School was one of 26 schools in the nation to receive one of these grants. The $25,000 grant is giving students the opportunity to continue building houses in collaboration with Habitat for Humanity while getting hands-on learning in the classroom.
Students at Rockbridge County High School in building and trades classes are not getting your average experience. The program has built over a dozen houses in the Rockbridge area. The number of houses is continuing to grow with new equipment and technology purchased with the $25,000 Skills USA Lowe's Community Service Grant the classes were given in 2015. Kurt Bennett, the building and trades instructor at RCHS, guided his students along with other professionals through the application of this grant.
The grant is definitely helping us to develop a direction. It's helping us to get new technology in here and to understand what a program like this needs in order for us to continue building for the homes. And definitely we're planning to continue with dealing with community, building for the community.
Currently, the students are working on a house for an RCHS alumnus. Each class, students are taking steps to further the building until they watch the house progress from start to finish.
The excitement from my 9th and 10th graders to see where they're going is phenomenal. They see that they're actually going to be putting their hands on something that's going to change the life of somebody else. The community service part of it is a bonus piece for us. Our product is our student. Our byproduct is a house. Once you can teach somebody how to build a house, they can build many houses.
I've been in this program for 3 years, introductory Building Trades 1 and Building Trades 2. It's a great experience especially for somebody my age.
The building and trades and HVAC programs have allowed students to learn skills and create contacts in the business. It has been a true display of RCHS, the community, and local businesses working together. For the Rockbridge Report, I'm Katie Wilds.
A Wisconsin elementary school has removed a transgender book from its reading list. One first grader making the transition is disappointed with the decision. Reporter Jennifer Cleese has more.
I really just felt concern for this child and this family.
Amy Lyle's child attends Mount Horeb Primary Center with a first grader making a big change. That student was born a boy but identifies as a girl, making the transition in school this year.
I really feel like they are showing us the way in this district.
Lyle and other families were disappointed when the school canceled plans to read I Am Jazz in class, a book about a transgender child, after the Liberty Council sent a letter to the district threatening to sue. Its founder, Matt Staver, says some parents thought it was inappropriate for public schools to talk about transgender issues.
We're talking about young people as young as 5 years of age that otherwise would have heard this book, heard this story, thinking that it's perfectly normal. It's not normal. Thinking that there's no harmful effects. There are harmful effects.
But Lyle stepped in, organizing a reading of I Am Jazz at the local library, unaffiliated with the school district.
That's their freedom of choice, and that's their right to freedom of speech. But it's not appropriate to subject all of the students in an elementary school to this kind of material.
We are a loving, compassionate, inclusive community, and so I felt that wasn't representing the majority of us here, and that's really what we wanted to show.
Lyle says support for the family has been overwhelming.
I don't think any of us anticipated such a large response, and it has gotten conversations going in our community that weren't happening before. A lot of good has come from this.
When we come back, we'll have your local sports.
Kobe says goodbye to DC on his farewell tour before retirement.
And we'll show you a local horse frolicking fest with one of our dear friends from the North Pole.
Jimmy can't sing, and Tommy can't dance, so we're gonna put some ants in their pants. Aww.
Kids will spend 22 minutes watching us, the super duper party troopers, sing about ants in their pants.
Isn't that funny? Ants in their pants, they've got ants in their pants, they've got ants in their pants.
Brushing for 2 minutes now can save your child from severe tooth pain later. 2 minutes, twice a day. They have the time.
Everybody has a dream. Mine was to see the ocean. And with a little help, I made it.
So, I'm kind of new here, but I've noticed a trend. My human does this funny thing where she goes around and gets all my toys, and then she hides them in that basket by the door. You know, but it's always the same basket, and it's always in the same place. And then she acts so surprised when I find them, but, you know, she's putting them in the same basket. Again. It's like, hello, that's where you put it last time. You were the worst at hide and go seek.
Enroll, we say, we want you to be okay. Enroll, we say, take care of people for goodness sake.
There's a plan for every budget, so don't accept defeat.
Now you can get covered and still
buy me treats.
You take care of your pets. Now it's their turn to take care of you. Visit getcoveredamerica.org to learn about your health insurance options.
So, I'm kind of new here, but I've noticed a trend. My human does this funny thing where she goes around and gets all my toys, and then she hides them in that basket by the door. You know, but it's always the same basket, and it's always in the same place. And then she acts so surprised when I find them, but, you know, she's putting them in the same basket. Again. It's like, hello, that's where you put it last time. You were the worst at hide and go seek.
Now that the semester is almost over, how are sports finishing up for the year, Kieran?
Pretty good, but
We're going to start out with Kobe, of course. Kobe Bryant scored a season-high 31 points in his last trip to Washington, D.C. on his farewell tour before his retirement. He helped the Lakers edge the Wizards with a close 108-104 final score. He spoke with basketball fan and President Barack Obama earlier that day to talk about the sport and the future. But in a press conference, Bryant didn't have an answer to how his story will end.
The end of my story, I don't know. I don't know what the end's going to be. That's the one thing about, real life is that you never know what that turn's going to be, man. And you just kind of live in the moment and you just allow life to happen as it happens. And I think there's a lot of beauty in that in and of itself.
He received several standing ovations during the performance, even though the game was in the Wizards' home turf. Bryant waved goodbye as he left the court at the end of his final D.C. game. Friends, family, and the basketball world have bid farewell to University of Houston coaching legend Guy Lewis. A funeral service for Lewis was held this morning. Several mourners dressed in University of Houston red to honor Lewis. He coached the basketball team there for 30 years, leading them to 5 Final Four appearances. Lewis died Thanksgiving morning at the age of 93. Washington and Lee's perfect football season came to an end just before Thanksgiving. The Generals traveled to Kentucky for the first round of the NCAA tournament, only to drop a 51-21 decision to 9th-ranked Thomas More. The men's basketball team over at VMI walked out of Cameron Hall with a victory last night, handily beating Central Penn 107-72. After a 2-game absence, Keydette senior Tim Marshall returned to the starting lineup and made a statement, scoring a season high of 21 points. The Keydettes improved to a 3-3 on the season. The Southern Virginia men's and women's cross-country seasons came to a close after both teams competed at the Capital Athletic Conference Championships. The women's team finished 6th overall, while the men placed 9th. And it's a good week for WNL basketball so far, as both the men's and women's teams notched wins last night. The women traveled to Hollins University and easily defeated the hosts 72-50. The men hosted Hampton-Sydney and handed the visiting Tigers a 75-66 loss. In high school sports news, basketball season is officially underway in Rockbridge County. Last night, both the men's and women's team at Rockbridge County High School hosted cross-county rival Perry McClure. RCHS won both games, with the men defeating the visiting Fighting Blues 80-29 and the women claiming a 50-46 victory. All practices tonight, originally scheduled in the Maury River new gym, have been moved to Central Elementary. Back to you, Kins.
Thanks, Kieran. Lots of good news in sports this week.
With Christmas right around the corner, Rockbridge County has been gearing up for the holidays. Mac Trammell has more from Buena Vista.
As the Christmas season has officially begun, Buena Vista has thrown itself fully into holiday cheer. This week, the city has been holding festivities from City Hall to Glenmorey Park. One of its annual festivities, A Horse's Christmas, took place once again at Kling Elementary, where Lisa Clark is the principal.
We have a group of local horse owners who bring their horses, and they do activities and run little routines and kind of like a horse show, all in horsey Christmas attire.
In addition to Kling students, kids from other schools, homeschooled children, and mothers with younger students usually attend the event as well. Buena Vista Director of Parks and Recreation, Ronnie Coffey, detailed the origins of A Horse's Christmas.
That's been going on for many, many years. We get the idea from Southern Virginia University, which used to be Southern Sim at the time. Used to have a horse program at Southern Sim. They always did the Horse's Christmas to take time with all the riders to come out and decorate the horses up and get all decorated up themselves, and they do what they call a Horse's Christmas.
The Horse's Christmas, which lasted from 1:15 to 2 today, will be followed by a holiday light show at Glenmorey Park at 6 and the annual Christmas parade through town at 7. Coffey said up to 100 people will participate in the parade, and that the Grand Master of the parade will be none other than Savannah Lane, Miss Virginia 2015.
This year's our theme is it's a hometown Christmas.
Wondering where jolly old St. Nick fits into the picture? He made a quick stop at Kling before heading back up to the North Pole to finish up last-minute toy making.
Of course, they always have Santa Claus as Horse's Christmas. He's always a big hit.
I'm Mac Trammell with a holly jolly Rockbridge Report.
In Lexington, the traditional Christmas parade kicks off tomorrow at 5 p.m. Traffic will be diverted for the parades, so keep that in mind if you're driving through or parking in either city tomorrow tonight or tomorrow. And that is it for this week's edition of the Rockbridge Report.
Be sure to check out all of our content on our website, rockbridgereport.washingtonandlee.net. Thanks for watching and have a great night.